Hello. So once again, just another random and spontaneous video that's just appearing from nowhere, from no thing. Do you know, a thought arose here just before I clicked record, and the thought was, I wonder how many people would watch this video for a minute or two, or 10 minutes, or I don't even know how long the video is going to be, but all the way to the end of the video. But you can't decide that. You've got no control at all about anything. Because you don't exist. That self that you think or believe you are, where is it? Right now in direct seeing, where is that me character? That self that you've been conditioned to believe that's who you are. It just isn't there. It's never been there. And if that's seen clearly, it's ridiculously obvious that, any decisions that seem to happen just happen without you, because there's no you, there's no one inside that body. There is no free will or choice that can be made by a separate self. I'm on the peppermint tea again today. You'll notice the tea bag. I've left the tea bag in as well. I don't know why I do that with peppermint. I don't do it with any other tea, but for some reason with the peppermint tea, the tea bag has to stay in. So any thought that arises is late. It's always late to the party. It's always late to the show. And that includes any thoughts of you and your story of the past or plans for the future. So, again, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I've just clicked record and I'm just going to see what happens. And, it seems I've been doing that for, it's coming up to 8 months now in the story, since I started this Imagine Storytime channel, which, if you are new to my videos or the channel, it would seem to be labelled as non-duality or radical non-duality, as some people might call it. And what's being shared here is a talk. There's talking about existence, talking about life. So, what is this? This immediacy. People call it consciousness, awareness, presence, God. You can call it anything you like. It's got no name. Nobody knows what it is. Nobody can control it, manipulate it, because there is no one here. That's the illusion. So what's being shared is a talking about this aliveness that's here, and also the recognition that there isn't anyone here. There is no self. There's no doer. There's no doer of thoughts or actions. There's no one who can control anything. There's no one who has any responsibility. And if you're quite new to this message, you might think that's crazy. Or, how could you say something like that? Of course I'm me. This is who I am. I've been this person all my life, and I make decisions, and I choose my career. I chose my husband or my wife. I chose to lead a healthy lifestyle, or I chose to fight with addictions and an unhealthy lifestyle. Well, the message here is, no, you didn't. And it can be seen. It can be seen clearly. I'll call it an illusion. The illusion can be seen through, but not by you. It can be seen clearly by the removal or the recognition that you are not there, you're not here. That's the illusion. So that character that you believe that you are, it isn't there. Now, if you want to say that it is there as a thought, then that's okay. That's accurate, I suppose. That's the only way that you exist, as a thought that arises now in this immediacy. That's it. So any thoughts of you and your story of the past and things that you've done didn't happen in the past. They arise now as a thought in this immediacy. There's only this immediacy. And that's what's been seen clearly here. Initially it was through a series of glimpses or awakenings, whatever you want to call it, glimpses into this aliveness, this unknown existence. And I don't know why it happens in some bodies, but the self can be seen for what it is, and it's not what it claims to be. So the self claims to be this, this solid entity, But if you look, it's so obvious. This immediacy is all there is. There is no time. Time is a mental construct. That's it. It's just a thought. Time is just a thought that arises now in this immediacy. But how does that make you feel? Because you can't really accept this message. The me character isn't there. It's an illusory energy that wants to survive. I've always said there's no teachings here on offer or advice. And I really, I feel like I want to stand by that because, again, I don't know why it happens it would seem like only a few bodies. It seems to be a rare realization. It's not even a realization because there's no one to realize it. It seems that it's quite rare that certain bodies see existence as it is without the filter or the belief in the thoughts and the identity and the imagined stories of that illusory me character. I mean, it is obvious, right now in direct seeing, this is all there is. So this, I'll call it an appearance. There's an appearance here. There's something here. No one knows what this is. It's not come from anywhere because there's no time. Nothing happened before this immediacy. That's impossible. Nothing can happen next. That's impossible. It's always, only, ever this immediacy. It's always been that way. It will always be that way. It's a fact that this is all there is. There's nothing hidden. There's nowhere else. Where would anywhere else be? If you think there's something hidden that you need to find, what would that be and where would that be? It's just an imagined story that's appearing now in this immediacy. So this immediacy is all that there ever is. So I'm just looking out my window and there's a FedEx delivery van, but I think it's for next door. So that FedEx van is a random and spontaneous appearance. It just appears in this immediacy. And then it'll disappear just like everything. Thoughts appear and disappear. Feelings arise and they seem to peak and then fall away. Sounds, smells, tastes. It's quite a sensory immediacy. Yeah, I think the delivery is for next door. Yeah, so I think we're okay. So I'm not sure how many of you watching this video have had a clear seeing of what's being shared here, or if you are seeking. And when I say seeking, well, that's the illusion. There is no seeker. That illusory me character is imaginary. It's just a thought that arises now in this immediacy. So the illusion is the seeker and the illusion is the seeking. Because it's impossible to find what is already. This is it. This appearance that's here is it. It's done. It's whole and complete as it is, however that appears. The delivery van's just left, by the way. So it might be able to concentrate a bit better. So going back to what I said at the start of the video, you have no control at all over anything, no responsibility. You know, if you're highly motivated right now, or you can't be arsed right now, that's just what's happening. You didn't choose that. If you're still watching this video, you didn't choose that. You can't choose if you're going to carry on watching this video to the end or not. But the illusion is that you think you can. And it seems that, you know, all psychological all psychological suffering, stress, anxiety, depression, again, these are just labels that we as humans have stuck onto certain feelings. There's actually no such thing as depression or anxiety or stress. It's just an uncomfortable feeling that arises now in this immediacy. And then the illusory imagined me character attaches onto that and says, that's my label, my anxiety, my depression. It's not happening. Only this immediacy, this is all there is. Any thoughts that arise in this immediacy or feelings or any appearance is fleeting, it's late. It can't affect this immediacy in any way. This immediacy is untouched. It doesn't move. It's completely still and silent. Yet the content on the, I call it the screen sometimes. There's like, this visual, it's not just visual, but this visual screen, if you like, is all that exists. There's nothing outside of the boundary of vision, sound, and all thoughts and feelings appear within or on this screen. Memories did not happen in the past. They appear now on this screen. Shit that you need to do tomorrow that's causing you anxiety will never happen tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. Any thoughts of planning or any thoughts of an imagined future is a fantasy that appears now on this screen, in this immediacy. This immediacy is all that there is. You know, and if that's, I mean, it seems like, there's a fair few people out there that understand this via intelligence. I mean, I don't know this for certain, but from talking to people, it's becoming more and more clear and obvious that, energetically, there's few people that can. Well, there's no people here. That's what I'm saying. There's few people that see this for what it is. That there is nobody here, and there's nothing here. It's all an imagined story that appears now in this immediacy. So that self-character that you believe you are, you've never seen yourself. Nobody's ever seen yourself. They see the body. When you look at somebody that you think you know, this is what I mean, the thoughts are late. So you see the body, and then an imagined story then gets layered on top of what is, and then there's the illusion. The illusion of knowing that person in an imagined, illusory time frame of past, present, and future. It's incredible how this aliveness can pull off such an illusion. But right now, if you don't think, if you could drop all thoughts, imagination, ideas, and brand new immediacy, just this is all there is, what is happening? Without thoughts or imagination or ideas, what's happening right now? And there's a deep peace and relaxation to this when it's seen clearly, because, as I said, all the psychological suffering can, here anyway, it kind of, and I know this sounds like a paradox or a contradiction, because there is no time. But in the story, this is what I mean, this is how amazing this awareness is, how it can pull off the illusion of time. But it would seem here in the story of time that the Gavin Brooks character become thinner and thinner. The beliefs in the thoughts become thinner and thinner, and it's just become undeniable. It's a joke. It's a joke, really. It's what's a bit annoying about it, and what is a joke, is that if it's happened, if you're watching this, you'll know exactly what I mean when I say, when the self character falls away, it's realized it was never there. But you can't fucking tell anyone. There's no one to speak to about it, because who would you speak to? There's no one here. And anyone that's identified with the me character, which is pretty much the whole of humankind, wouldn't just wouldn't listen, wouldn't understand. Obviously, I'm not saying there's anything right or wrong with that. I've always said in my videos, there's nothing wrong with being identified with the me character. It's just what's happening. The weather in the UK is brutal today. I'm just looking out the window. We've got hailstone. It's very windy. And the weather, it's a good example of the content on the screen changing. No one's in control of the weather, despite conspiracy theories. I've been down all the conspiracy theory rabbit holes. If weather is being manipulated, then the people that are manipulating still are not in control. There's no one making decisions. There's no one in control. There's no one inside any bodies making choices or decisions. It's just this aliveness, this unknown existence that's running the show. But I think the weather's a great example of, in particular, feelings. So any feelings that arise are just like the weather. They just change like the weather. It's random and spontaneous, just like everything is. So this immediacy that's here, it really doesn't have any meaning or purpose. And a lot of people say, well, non-duality is nihilistic, but it's not. Nihilism is you, the imagined me character. That's the illusion, the illusory me, saying that this is nihilistic. There's just this immediacy. It's neutral. There's nothing good or bad about what's happening. There's only you that puts conditions on this immediacy. This immediacy couldn't give a shit. There's no beliefs in this immediacy. The beliefs belong to the imagined me character, which is an illusion. So, if you are seeking, if you're on a search, if you're on a path, then, well, you're going nowhere. There's nowhere to get to. If someone's telling you, you're getting closer to enlightenment, this immediacy is all there is. It's timeless. Who could get closer to this? How could you get any closer to this? There isn't anything else. If you think there is something else, then that's the illusion. That's an imagined story, a belief that's appearing now in this immediacy. And predominantly, that illusion is the belief in time. It seems to be, here anyway, that's what was, there's been a noticing here that the biggest illusion is, time would seem to be the most convincing illusion, the continuity of time. But it's the same thing, the belief in the me character is the same as time. I've said that on lots of my previous videos because, if if a thought arises now of your past, then that's immediately that's an illusion of time. Or even if you look at a tree, again, it's late. The thought of labeling that a tree is late, and it implies time, because how did you know that where did the label tree come from? It was learnt in time. So it can't be a tree. That's just a label. No one knows what that is. It's incredible how this aliveness can pull off this illusion, through words, thoughts, language, feeling, time. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it either. I think it's amazing. I think it's you can't even put it into words. When it's been seen clearly that this immediacy is all there is, but there's no denial of the illusion as well. I think the illusion's amazing. The fact that there's apparently billions of people in a world with all these countries and cities and things going on, there's nothing happening. There's only this immediacy. But I said it on other videos as well, it's kind of like there's two realities going on at the same time. There's this immediacy, and then there's the illusion. People call the illusion the matrix, a thought-based reality. Nothing happened before this. Time is that's the big one. Here anyway, that's the big one. The realization that there is no time. And you can't go right or wrong, because there's no one moving your body. That body breathes by itself. The eyes are blinking, coughing and sneezing, and blood pumping around the body, cells regenerating, mouth moving, sounds coming out, hearing, vibration. There's no one doing anything. People walking around, cars moving, leaves blowing in the wind, sound of a dog barking, sound of a plane passing by, aeroplane. It's just content on a screen. And then the illusion is all these thoughts and imaginations and ideas get layered on, late, always late. And that thought narrative that seems to be playing in people say it's playing in your head. The thoughts arise in this. I don't even like saying thoughts arise in your head, because they don't. They just appear in this immediacy on this screen. You've got no control over that thought narrative at all. It's just like a program that's appearing. It would seem through conditioning, but again, that implies time. So that's what I mean. The illusion goes hand in hand with time and the self. The self and time is just the same. That's the illusion. And then, of course, the seeking of something next is in time. So the illusion is time. The illusion is the seeker. The illusion is the self. The reality is this immediacy that's here. And when that's seen, what's been fascinating here is that this immediacy is not for me, it's not for you, it's not for them, it's not for anyone. This immediacy is just this immediacy. It doesn't need to be explained. It doesn't have a reason or a purpose or meaning. It just is. And when that's seen, because at first, when in the story that's appearing now in this, when I had these glimpses, I used to think that this experience was mine. This unknown awareness or consciousness that, I used to think that, again, I used to think it's an illusion. I used to think that this awareness is me. So I am this. And I mean, personally, you hear in spirituality a lot, I am. I fucking hate that. I hate that term. I mean, there's nothing, again, there's nothing right or wrong with anything, but you're not. This experience, so if you look in direct seeing, there's not even an experience happening, because that can only be for you, the illusory me character. Something's here, there's an existence here. And it can appear as an illusion of you in time. So the experience, it's not even an experience, it's not happening for you. If that's seen, then that is game over. There's no fear of psychological suffering. How can there be? It's just pure unconditional love, aliveness. I shouldn't say the word love, because it can appear as anything, and unconditional isness. There's no conditions. Who would place conditions on it? It's just this appearing how it wants to appear. For no reason, no meaning, no purpose. Just because it can and does. And I don't know why that is. I can only think, again, I'm guessing, we're all guessing, but it would seem like this unknown existence wants to experience itself through the illusion of time and separate me identities and all these separate bodies and animals and wildlife and whatever, clouds, trees. It's all just the same, isn't it? Everything's made of the same. No one even knows what the fabric of this is. Science might tell you. Even science doesn't know. No one knows. No one knows what this is. It still baffles me how, even though that is so obvious that nobody knows what this is, hardly anyone talks about it. Everyone just seems to be completely self-obsessed with their life and their story. Me. I remember when I first, when I was again in the story, I've been a seeker for decades, and I think I must have been about, I'm 42 now, 42 years old. I think it must have been about 25. I don't know, when did The Power of Now come out? Eckhart Tolle, and it was when that first came out anyway. And I always remember him saying, obviously now is all that there is. So anything that happened in the past would have happened in the now. Anything that will happen in the future will happen in the now. And I think it's a fair thing. I think it's a good pointer. But the mind still interprets that as time, a past, a now, and a future. And what's been seen here through multiple glimpses, and it's just become undeniable now that your life didn't happen. That's, I don't want to undermine anything Eckhart Tolle said, or, but what's being shared here is that the past didn't happen. There's only this immediacy. The past and the future they don't exist. They never have existed. They will never exist. How could they? It's impossible. There's only this immediacy. There's nothing next. Nothing happened before it. That body of yours never used to be a younger body. That's how powerful this illusion is. If you look at your body right now, it's a brand new appearance in this immediacy. It's total freedom. Like you cannot die because there's no you. I hope that made sense. What an illusion. It's so convincing. It can feel so real. Even here, I don't walk around in a state of immediacy. I've got no control over the thoughts of my story appearing. No one has. But it's just, there's no belief in it anymore, because a thought is nothing. A thought is nothing. It's got no power at all. And it pissed me off when that was first seen as well, because I used to struggle a lot with my thoughts of anxiety and worry. And the nothing thoughts, they're absolutely nothing. They cannot affect this immediacy in any way. And in the story, I mentioned it on the last video, I tested it. So every time an uncomfortable thought arose here, it was, again, it sounds like a teaching, but I came back into this immediacy. There's just this immediacy. I was saying to myself, there's just this immediacy. There's only this immediacy. There's nothing else. And it becomes really obvious that you cannot manipulate this immediacy in any way. You've got no control over it at all. Any thoughts of you and your story, they are the illusion. They're not happening. Nothing's happening. What a relief. Or a devastating terror. Nothing's ever happening. Nothing's ever happened. Nothing will happen. Seems to, in the illusion, in the matrix, in the story. So you are not the problem. You are the illusion. That me character isn't there. It never was. There's nothing to fix. You can't, I went down the self-improvement. I devoured lots of books on self-help over the years. And I don't know if you've noticed, they don't work. Because you've got no control over this immediacy. Positive thinking doesn't work, because who would choose? Positive affirmations. Try it. For the next 4 hours, I'm only going to think positive thoughts. Good luck with that. You can't control when that negative thought arises. And, there's freedom and relief in that as well, because, trying to fucking control, trying to control your thoughts. You can't. You can't control anything. So, the liberation really is the freedom of this immediacy being this immediacy, however it appears. Even if that appears as uncomfortable thoughts and feelings. But yeah, thank you. If you did watch the video right to the end, you didn't choose to. And all them people that stopped watching the video after a couple of minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, they didn't choose to. But no, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. Donations and phone calls and emails, it's much appreciated. There's no agenda here. I just pick up my phone every so often and I click record, and I'm talking about, again, this isness, this existence that's here. And I don't want to say exposing the me character. I think it's unfair to say that, because no one can control, whether the me character is seen through or seen for what it is or not. It is weird though, you know, I mean, I look at my story, and I say I'm 42 now, and I mean, in the story here, you know, I've had what would seem like, you know, I look at my 20s and in my 20s and my 30s, had a busy social life and career, and you know, again, there's no control over. There's just no control. There's no one. Your life, you don't have a life, so your story is not your story. It belongs to this. But it seems here that, you know, it's this. I mean, I call it a no self-realization. It seems to have stripped away everything from me. You know, there's, you know, I'm not bothered anymore about material things or money or, you know, I'm not saying that's a rule, by the way. I'm sure there's, you know, there might be people out there that have had a, you know, clear scene of this and no self-realization, and this, they might still be chasing all them things. I'm just talking about what's happened here. And I don't know, for some reason, this unknown existence is completely humiliated and humbled this character. And it, you know, it really shook me. You know, I wouldn't say it was a shocking realization, because there's nothing to find. It's always just been this. But it was shocking in a way, because the character, it seems to have changed a lot in the story here. You know, I don't really see my friends anymore, or, you know, I have a small group around me, a very small circle of people around me. But I don't talk to them about this message, and I've mentioned that on other videos. I just think, you know, if you're talking to someone who's completely identified, who really believe strongly that they are a person and they've got a life, and they really feel it's real, you know, trying to have a conversation with them about this, what I'm sharing in this video, it just doesn't work. There has to be it would seem like there's got to be an openness or a resonance to it. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Thank you.